So welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this very insightful webinar on Plan B, exploring relocation, residency, and citizenship planning. My name is Josani Campos, and I will be your host for this session. Well, we are here to guide you through an exciting journey with a great lineup of experts and also first-hand insights. Together, we will explore some of the most sought-after destinations for relocations, along with visa options, emerging trends, and real-life stories of individuals who've taken the leap to start a new chapter abroad. I am delighted to introduce our panel of speakers. From Global Citizen Solutions, we have Patricia Casaburi, our CEO, Laura Madrid, the research lead at the intelligence unit at Global Citizen Solutions, Adalberto Puca, head of European programs, Joe Rice, head of citizenship programs, and Yelena Sivchev, head of strategy and Canada specialist. And I also would like to introduce you to two of our clients who bring unique perspectives to the table. They are Klaus Ullmann from Germany, who started planning his post-retirement life on the Caribbean islands of Antigua and Barbuda, and Angela Wiggins from the US, who has moved recently to Portugal. Quick housekeeping rules here. So our session will be interactive, so feel free to jot down any questions as they arise and engage with our team online. We are also opening a Q&A at the end. So if you want, you can also ask some questions there. We are basically here to make sure you leave with actionable insights and inspiration for creating your own Plan B. I also would like to invite you to stay all the way till the end because we will share a special gift. Our brilliant content team has put together a very comprehensive guide on how to craft the ultimate Plan B strategy and become a global citizen. It will be available to you at the end. Let me see here. What else? Who are we going to speak first? Well, let's get started. I think I'll start with Laura Madrid. Laura, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Nice to have you again. So Laura Madrid Sartoreto is our research lead, and she's behind the latest research and trend reports on global mobility, all published by the Global Intelligence Unit, and you can find it all on our website. So Laura, quick question for you. Are you able to share some statistical trends showing increasing numbers of Americans considering or moving abroad?
Sure, thanks for having me here and this live, and I'm going to provide some relevant information for us to kick off this Plan B conversation. The Association of American Resident Overseas, ARO, estimated that approximately 5.5 million Americans lived outside the US in 2022. So this number is certainly higher now. After 2020 elections, Gallup found that 16% of US adults wanted to immigrate permanently. And the figure climbed to 18% by 2023. And by 2024, a survey revealed that 22% of Americans were considering relocation, international relocation. If we look into worldwide numbers, in 2023, 60% of adults said that they would like to live outside their country permanently, if they could. US nationals, they relocate south and they relocate north. When we talk about North Canada and the United Kingdom are top destinations due to language and cultural similarities. And in the south, we have Mexico, Panama, and the Caribbean countries that are very popular among Americans. And 6 out of 10 top destinations for Americans are in Europe. We have Portugal, Greece, Ireland, Italy, France, Switzerland, and Spain. Malta is also a country that is a long-time favorite for Brits, but it's also growing in popularity among Americans as well.
This is great, Laura. Thank you very much. I'm sorry it took me a while to unmute myself. So that was a very good overview, and I like that you also tapped into other nationalities, not only Americans, because the Plan B is something that, regardless of where you're born, it's a trend that is becoming more and more common as people are looking at other ways to safeguard their future. Right, so talking about ways to safeguard the future, I'd like to invite Patricia Casaburi. She is our CEO at Global Citizen Solutions. And let me think of a very special question for you. Patricia, can you give us, well, let's go to the basics. Can you give us an introduction to Global Citizen Solution Services?
Yeah, sure. First of all, hello, good afternoon, morning, depending where you are. Thank you for joining us today. There's quite a few people on the call and really appreciate, and definitely thank you for the clients that are willing to share the experience with us. So, at Global Citizen Solutions, we are a global mobility firm, and then we focus primarily on relocation visas, but obviously as well as residency and citizenship planning, which is the ultimate Plan B. The team that we have here is very international. You get a little bit of a sample today on this call, and that kind of reflects throughout the company with our operational team and everyone else that's kind of somehow involved in making things happen here. And most of us will have firsthand experience in migration, which just brings that extra level of like empathy, connection with our clients. So on the relocation, we cover most of the traditional routes, like the new and not that new anymore, but the trendy digital nomad visa. There are a number of people looking to come and become entrepreneurs in a lot of the countries that they're looking to potentially relocate to. Very popular are the passive income visas. And typically what all of these visas have in common is that they will require you to move either full-time or for at least part of the year to the chosen country. When it comes to these types of relocation visas, the most popular ones tend to kind of be in Europe. And then Portugal leads the table, followed by Spain, Malta, Italy, and Greece. Then we have what we call the ultimate Plan B, which are the typical residency and citizenship planning. I know the residency, sometimes it's difficult because we're talking visas and so on, but the residency in this context, it's connected to the kind of term that most of you must be acquainted with, which is the golden visa. And then we have the straight citizenship programs. And the citizenship programs are typically options that you can pursue, both of them actually, you can pursue with an investment without having to actually move to the other country. So you just, keep just leading your life as usual, but with this kind of plan going on in the background. So this is super helpful as like a tool to increase, options, opportunities for the future, for the family. And what we see here is that we come to the table with an offer that's super comprehensive, and we try to go a little bit beyond the immigration planning. So we look at this process of either on a Plan B or a straight up relocation, of looking as a whole. So you're kind of short, mid to long-term goals. So we'll typically like to think about investments, tax aspects, and obviously how, this choice can enhance your life and the lifestyle for you and your family.
Thanks, Patricia. That was great, very thorough. But I'd like to point out that you touched upon two interesting concepts there, which is residency. You mentioned residency and citizenship. Those two, they could come together, they might not come together. So are you able to explain the difference?
Yes, certainly. So we have a residency, is typically a permit to live in a country, and it can be on a temporary or a long-term basis. Then we have the residency by investment, which is, again, like we mentioned a little bit earlier, the golden visas. And that they will give you a permit to live in a country, but you also have the freedom to not to. One thing that is important to say is that many of the residency programs, they can actually lead eventually to citizenship. But then you have some countries that offer citizenship, and the citizenship is typically, you naturalize it, you become a citizen of that country, and that will kind of extend to a full combination of rights. And so there's a full participation in that country's political and legal systems. But the main thing is the family legacy, because it's something that you will pass it on to your children. And again, with some of the citizenship through investment, you may or may not have to reside in that country to achieve that.
Sure, I
Hopefully
think
that's helpful.
no, that was very clear. But again, if you're watching us and you still have questions about the concept of citizenship, second citizenship and residency, just drop a line. Our team will be here to answer. Right, so we've been talking about this dream. I'm sure some of you are researching or have started taking those baby steps to plan your plan B. And a good thing is always to hear real life examples. So I'd like to introduce Klaus Ullman and Angela Wiggins, two individuals who have pursued different pathways, one for a second citizenship and the other one to move abroad, which will at some point lead to a second citizenship. So they will be with us in two different moments. So in this first moment, I just wanted to ask them about their motivations to choose their distinct pathways. So I'd like to start with Angela. Hi, Angela, how are you?
Hello, good, doing well today.
Good, good. So you're speaking to us from Portugal, correct?
Yes, Lisbon, Portugal. Yes, that's
Right.
correct.
And Angela, I believe you have a D7 visa, which requires relocation.
Yes.
Okay. So Angela, tell me what aspects of Portugal appealed most to you, and how did it align with your personal goals?
So many things. Portugal's a beautiful country. Climate-wise, the terrain is beautiful here. The culture, it's a very artistic culture. To me, that's very important. The people here are very friendly, and compared in our life, where we are in our life, which is retired or semi-retired. My husband is retired military, and I am semi-retired and a creative person. So there's so much art and culture here that's very beautiful, and such a mixture of cultures to me that's very appealing. So that's part of it. And I think the pace of life compared to the United States is a beautiful thing. And my nervous system is calmed a bit, so I'm a little more available for creative pursuits in my mind. That's where I'm going. And I've only been here a few months, so I've been here since December. That's when we started. I was here in December, so we haven't been here a few months now.
Okay, I was going to ask
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Just a
So
few
there's so
months.
many things. So like healthcare, we moved here from the southern United States, so Tennessee. So there's a lower natural disasters, so tornadoes and things you don't have to worry about. There's so many other things we do not have to worry about that is just lower on my stress level. There's access to transportation, which I know some people in Lisbon think maybe it's not good enough, but we didn't have any where I'm from, so this is just a wonderful thing. Just also proximity and access to other European countries to travel to, and it's just so much easier to travel and so much less expensive to travel all over Europe from here as a base than it would be from America. So we have just so much, it's just so much more access here.
Sure,
And
sure.
and safety. It's just safe.
Safety, yeah.
I mean, I just feel so much safer here. There's just, I could go on and on really of why I chose Portugal.
No, I was going
Yeah.
to ask about safety and healthcare.
Yes.
You mentioned it briefly. So how are you finding it here?
Well, I did hire a healthcare consultant, which it's available to have someone help with that, and it's fairly inexpensive to do. So that's been great, having someone help navigate the system. And there are two systems. There is a public system and a private system. And so we have private insurance, which is needed to go through the process. So you're not a burden on the system, which is part of, I'm not a citizen, so I don't need to take up the resources of the people here. So we do have private health insurance to cover our share. And I find it to be very easy. I got a prescription this morning. I went to the pharmacy, they scanned my prescription. It's just so easy and less expensive. It's just, it's a little difficult with the language barrier. I have to learn Portuguese. That's on me, that I have to do that. But most people in Lisbon speak English, and I'm navigating it now until I'm able to have the time dedicated to learn Portuguese. But otherwise, the system, it seems very, comparatively speaking, seems very efficient as far as like how you get things done. It's very efficient. Like I had a doctor's appointment on Saturday. My doctor spent an hour and a half with me. That is unheard of in the United States. She went through everything with me, all of my entire medical history, connecting all the dots with all my different things. It was amazing. I got private health insurance. I had a consultant and I got private health insurance. I got quotes and private health insurance within like 2 weeks time. It was very efficient.
Wow, Angela, I'm really glad you're having a good experience.
Yes.
It's very important. It's a candid account of this process as well. So there are some hurdles, but I'd like
Yes.
you to now, we will explore those later on
Yes.
today. So, but
Yes.
thank you very much for sharing that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Now I'm going to move on to Klaus. So Klaus and his partner invested on the citizenship by investment program from the island of Antigua and Barbuda. So it's a completely different life journey from Angela. This is a long-term plan, and they will not move soon, I believe. But I will leave it up to Klaus to explain. So hi, Klaus. Oh, let me get my team to unmute you. Hang on a sec. Production, can you please unmute Klaus? Production team, Thomas. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, Klaus.
Okay, fantastic. In fact, the reasons why we have done so are very similar to that one of Angela. It's just that my partner is French. I'm German by origin. We've been working in France, in Belgium, in Germany as well. And here's the background. You can see that's Brussels. It's really fantastic city. But the point is, it's rainy. It's rainy. If you stay there over winter and you have the gray sky all the time, we said we have to get out, and we have done the cruise. And in 2019, we went to the Caribbean. And this was really like, wow, fantastic experience. It was beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, friendly people. It was really an amazing experience. And I said, that would be a good occasion to be there. Not for all time of the year, but for most time of the year, and to have the possibility to change. And therefore, we were looking for a place which was not too hilly, because I cannot walk very well. We were looking for an island where English is used, because I do not speak Spanish, or Pierre is not so well with let's say, German. And so we said we have to find something where we have one language in common, which pleased both of us. And Antigua, therefore, was a good occasion. And we fall in love with it, fantastic beaches and friendly people. And we said, that would be the place where we can imagine to stay.
That is such an interesting story. Klaus, do you mind? You said 2009 was the first time you
19,
went there.
19.
19, sorry.
Yeah. But
19.
in between, we have been there again. And so
Over and over.
2019 was just the first experience.
Okay.
So last year, we have done a tour to the Caribbean as well. And we have seen different islands, for instance, Dominica, where they've done the film Pirates of the Caribbean with
Yeah,
Johnny
and that one
Depp.
is very hilly, isn't
It's
it?
very hilly.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
hilly. So if you have flat feet, and by the way, I had a problem with my leg on that island, it's a bit difficult to walk. But this Antigua is not the case. So the landscape is fantastic and beaches are good. It's accessible. So especially if you have a handicap, if it's difficult for you to walk, that was a place which was very interesting for both of us.
That is very good. So thank you for sharing that with us. I hear you had an interview recently, so I want to know how did it go? And but I'm not going to ask you now. So let's keep it for the
Okay.
second phase when we come and talk to you again. So now I'd like to move on and have a bit of an overview about the programs that could make this Plan B become a reality. So I'd like to speak to Adalberto Puca. Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. So Puca, can you tell us briefly about the popular pathways for investors to obtain a second citizenship or residency in Europe?
Of course, there are actually several pathways that individuals could pursue depending on many factors. So the country that they would like to spend time in or to invest in, depending on the flexibility that they want to have. So we just heard two different stories. Angela with Portugal, the D7 being a program that requires presence in order to eventually become a citizen. And then Klaus, of course, investing in Antigua, which is a country that offers citizenship by investment. So these are just a couple of different ways. Ultimately, I would say residency or citizenship by investment programs are there are paths that stand out to for our clients. And the reason for it is because of that flexibility. You do obtain a residency permit to reside in the country and have the option to do so should the need arise. So you can look at it as an insurance policy, if you will. But at the same time, that is going to lead to citizenship. Two countries stand out. So Portugal, while we're on the topic, they have a golden visa program, where after 5 years of holding a residence permit or a golden visa, that will be sufficient to apply for citizenship. The other is Malta. Malta having the fastest residency to citizenship by investment program in Europe. As a matter of fact, we've seen cases of clients who have gone through that program in 15 to 18 months time from application to having their passports in hand. So these are two examples, of course, of flexible citizenship programs. But you also have options like the D7, and this isn't exclusive to Portugal. We can look at Spain, where they have programs like the non-lucrative visa, which is the passive income visa similar to the D7. You have digital nomad visas there, and similarly, other countries like Italy, like Greece, and even Malta have such programs as well. I want to, of course, highlight very quickly the Spain Golden Visa program, which is unfortunately coming to an end in the beginning of next month. So whilst there is still perhaps a few days where people could start an application and still make it, it does require a very fast action. But that program, unlike Portugal, unlike Malta, would require a 10-year residency in order to lead to citizenship. But all in all, there for each individual there is going to be a solution, and that's essentially what we do with our clients.
Thanks. So I'd like to, since you touched upon the residency requirement, I'd like to ask about for the golden visa programs, what are the requirements for each program? And also, it would be good to know which ones allow investors to maintain their primary residency in the US or in another country.
Sure. Well, there are a couple of distinctions here that we need to make. So there is the time required to maintain the golden visa, and then there's a time requirement to eventually become a citizen. So golden visas, they are no, they're known for the flexibility. So, you know, Portugal, for example, requires just 7 days a year. Spain, Greece, they don't require any stay requirement at all. But that doesn't mean that as a path to citizenship, you don't need to live in the country. So for Portugal, Malta, that is the case. Very little time spent. But other countries like Italy, like Greece, you're required to spend at least 183 days a year in order to become a citizen. But if your objective is just to have the residency, just to have that plan B, the insurance policy, then essentially there is next to no, if not no residency requirement at all.
Okay, good one. And Puka, so lastly, we've seen here two completely different examples, Angela and Klaus. So how do you assess your clients in selecting the most suitable program for them? So what factors are considered to the many different walks of life?
Well, we're very spoiled here at GCS because we have various experts in many different countries, ultimately understanding what is required. So we always start with a consultation. It's, you know, a free consultation with each client. We really want to get to know them, to get to understand primarily what their objectives are. And then based on that, the discussion evolves. We come up with a strategic plan for each individual client, whether it is a citizenship by investment, a residency by investment, or it could be a passive income visa. Whatever that might be, we put together a very comprehensive package for each client, understanding, of course, what all the costs involved, not only to start, but throughout the entire process. And then we come to you know, once a client decides to move forward, that's when we actually begin to work the application. So we have the full legal team either in house or you know, we're marketing agents for various programs. So we take clients from A to Z.
Okay, wow, that's good. So Puka, thank you very much. Have a look at our chat. As you can see, there are lots of interesting questions popping there. And like to now address our viewers. If there's anything you want to share with us now, just put on the Q&A chat, and our team available here will be able to answer. So now we talked about Europe with Adalberto Puka. I'd like to intro Joe Rice, who is our head of citizenship programs, and I'd like to speak to him about everything beyond the EU. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Giselle. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, Joe, are you in the Caribbean now?
No, it's just a backdrop. I'll be there next month, but unfortunately, right now, no. I'm in
No,
Lisbon.
just a backdrop. It's very credible. Good, but then next week we will do another webinar, and then you can have a real backdrop there. But anyway,
Sure.
Joe, tell us about your experience with investors looking for a citizenship as a plan B.
Sure. So what I've noticed is, you know, when speaking to a client, first of all, we need to find out from them what they consider a plan B. Different people have different views on what their plan B might be for them. So there's certain information that goes into that. We need to find out, you know, who is going to be on an application. Is it a family? Is it a single applicant? Are there children? Are there siblings? So that information is, you know, necessary to find out. And then within the plan B, what are they looking for? Are they looking for global mobility, great healthcare, business opportunities, crypto-friendly countries, lots of different things. And then I think Klaus had mentioned also English is the first language. That seems to be a recurring theme that people ask about. And then some clients, so they kind of even mentioned they don't know whether they'll ever use the passport. So this plan B really is a plan B that's sort of sitting there, maybe never used, but they want to safeguard their future. I guess looking at it as maybe like an insurance policy. And then I think one of the things that came from, sorry, I'll have to say the word COVID, brought up a lot, regarding mobility. People maybe couldn't leave their country because they didn't have a dual citizenship. If they had that plan B and had a second citizenship, maybe it would be good as a backup plan. So sometimes they do this and they, 2 or 3 different citizenships as their plan B.
Wow, okay, that's good. It's a great variety there, and I think we also have some citizenship programs that are more popular, or some that could be a better fit for whichever is the plan of your client. Can you start by just telling us what's the most popular citizenship programs now?
I don't know, most popular, but very popular. I mean, I think across the board, they're all very, very popular now, but there's the Caribbean, say, for example, we mentioned the Caribbean. So in the Caribbean, we have St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, the backdrop, Grenada, St. Lucia and Dominica. Other countries that are very popular are Turkey, Vanuatu, and Malta, which Puka had mentioned. And so within these countries, like the Caribbean countries are very popular for American clients, as well as having a plan B that are also looking to maybe invest in real estate, retirement, get a property as a source of rental income, or maybe just to spend a few months of the year there. And living on the island. Some of our clients have actually moved there. They get their property, they live there for a few months and then return to maybe their home country. And then also the geographic location also makes it very, very attractive. Vanuatu, especially popular for clients looking for asset management. So it's a slightly different program. And also that are very into crypto, because Vanuatu is very crypto friendly. So it's becoming more and more popular with people that are deeply invested in crypto. Turkey, that serves as a key hub for travel. Trade, market connections, and also investing in real estate is really, really big in Turkey. Malta, as Puka also mentioned, is the EU citizen program of choice due to the speed of obtaining the passport. As he mentioned, 15 to 18 months. So it's very, very fast for the EU. And a lot of Americans over the last few months have selected Malta as the ultimate plan B because it also gives access to any EU country also.
Sure. One thing now, quickly, before I was just looking at the Q&A box, and there are lots of interesting questions there. But before I let you answer some of them, can you give me a bit of a comparison between these citizenship programs? How do they compare to the European options in terms of benefits and requirements?
Yeah, so the main difference generally is that these programs, the way they differ to the European program, is that they're a direct path to citizenship. Generally no residency requirements, or one island, for example, Antigua and Barbuda, very, very minimal, 5 days within the first 5 years of becoming a citizen, so a week's vacation. And the process is also fully remote. So you can basically sit at home. If you're working, you can do it in between work. And the time to citizenship is also incredibly fast. Some places, well, for example, St. Kitts and Nevis now have a public benefit option, and they guarantee from submission of your file to citizenship within 120 to 180 days. So pretty fast. Antigua and Barbuda and Grenada, approximately 6 months. And then I guess the final one you just can't beat it, Vanuatu. Vanuatu, you can get citizenship from submission of your file in 3 months. So
That's fast.
Nothing faster than that. Yes.
Yeah. Joe, thank you so much. If you, I'd like to address our viewers again. If you're watching us and want to ask questions about all those programs that Joe kindly explained to us, please go and ask questions. He will be able to answer now. So now, Joe, you can go. I'm going to speak to Yelena. Yelena, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Good, good. Right, so I want to ask you all things Canada now. So is Canada a top choice for investors?
I'd say definitely it is. During the past couple of years, Canada has definitely been one of the top choices for entrepreneurs and investors. Generally speaking, there are many factors that contribute to that fact. Obviously, it has a stable economy, so it does provide kind of a secure environment for investments, for running a business, which can be very appealing to entrepreneurs or investors, and also provides a very straightforward and kind of a perfect pathway to get permanent residency in Canada. Now, some of the factors that I believe mostly people with families or kids would value is high quality of life, which Canada does offer and have. Amongst that falls into top healthcare, affordable education with very high quality university options for kids. And on top of that, it is also considered to be one of the safest places in the world. And is generally very welcoming towards different nationalities coming from all around the world. Now, lastly, what I would mention also is a big factor for a lot of people, that this option gives them not only Canada doesn't only give them an option to get permanent residency, but also go towards citizenship, which by extension offers them a Canadian passport, which ranks approximately 8th on the global passport index rating. And that is based on different factors such as mobility, investment options, and quality of life. Now, kind of looking at all of these factors, they kind of all come together and make Canada a very appealing option for a lot of different applicants, investors, entrepreneurs, those who are looking into better quality of life, or those who are looking for better opportunities.
You certainly made a really strong case for Canada. Could you, so now I'm thinking, what am I going to ask? Can you outline the main pathways then for investors to obtain Canadian permanent residency?
Absolutely. I mean, generally speaking, there are many different ways to immigrate to Canada, but most of them are based on a points-based system where applicants compete on a global scale, and it gives them temporary residency, actually. There is one program that stands out that gives permanent residency immediately, and that is called a startup visa. So this startup visa kind of gives a premium pathway to permanent residency with a lot of flexibility. Generally, what is needed in order to qualify is kind of an innovative business idea that can contribute to the economy, and use that to get a letter of support and permanent residency. So generally speaking, first step would be this kind of a business idea. The next step would be getting the letter of support and then getting permanent residency. Once somebody gets permanent residency, it is an irrevocable permanent residency that can lead to citizenship if somebody wants to qualify for it and wants to spend some time in Canada in order to achieve that. Now, I mentioned a lot of flexibility in regards to this program, and that comes from there are different immigration programs with different rules. Canada is a bit specific because this program doesn't have any age restrictions or any nationality restrictions. It doesn't have any minimum net worth requirements. And generally, applicants have the freedom to live anywhere in Canada that they wish to. So any province is available, so they can choose. Also, it can sometimes sound a bit like a bit of a hassle, like a startup visa, but what is good about this program is that the applicants have complete flexibility in kind of choosing how much they're going to be involved in the business. So they can be as active or as passive, depending on what they want to do. So that kind of makes it a very appealing option, I'd say, for a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of investors across the world. Now, obviously, it might not be an ideal choice for everybody. There are certainly some negative factors like the weather. So if somebody doesn't like the cold weather and is looking for something warmer, there are other options that can give them permanent residency immediately as a great plan B. And that is generally in Latin American countries. One country that does stand out is Panama. So Panama has a program that is called the Qualified Investor Visa, or otherwise known as the Golden Visa or Red Carpet Visa. This is a residency by investment program. So in a sense, it is similar to some EU programs. And the minimum investment is 300,000 US dollars. Now, most popular investment option is real estate, actually. So that is something that can be very attractive to people who are looking for a plan B, but also a place available to them that they can go in case they need to. Obviously, with this program, as mentioned, people do get permanent residency, and they can get it very, very quickly. So as compared to some other programs, this option gives them a residency in about 30 days from when they actually submit it. So generally speaking, Panama does give a lot of opportunities in terms of investment. It gives applicants permanent residency with minimum physical presence to maintain the residency. So it can be a very good option as a plan B, or if somebody's looking into relocating at one point.
Absolutely. Panama does look very attractive indeed, especially if you are looking at the business angle. So, Yelena, thank you very much. If you have any questions about Canada's investor visa and the Panamanian as well, so just drop down your questions here. Yelena will be available to answer. Now, I'd like to invite our guests again. Klaus and Angela, we will share, I'd like them to share an overview of the process, and this will highlight how each different program can suit various walks of life. And I think it's very important for you now watching this webinar to see that this is feasible. And there are some ups and downs, mostly ups. And yeah, so I'm excited to share these two distinct examples. So let's start with Klaus this time. So Klaus, are you there? Yeah. Are you? We learned that we are able to mute you, but we're not able to unmute you. So there you go. Thank you. So Klaus, thanks. Did you run into any challenges along the way during this process of getting your plan B, making your plan B a reality?
In fact, what was a bit difficult was to get all the different papers from administration. As I am German by origin, but working currently in Belgium, I needed papers from Belgium as well as from Germany. And getting that by internet, that was not always easy. But being in contact with the German administration, with the Ministry of Justice, for instance, I've got the necessary papers. And traveling is not a big deal. I mean, you take a train and in 2 hours you're in Germany from Brussels city. So I could get the papers directly. That was a good point. And wherefore I was very grateful was that we had a good guideline from you, what kind of papers you need, what are the papers you have to bring in. And if you have the time and the energy to do so, then it's working perfectly well. But as I said, being from Germany and living in Belgium has taken me some time to get the papers from both sides. But once you did it and you have done your to-do list, it was great. And I've got all my papers together and was very happy about this. Of course, sometimes you get by administration the papers via internet. This did not always work for the Germans, but as I said, as traveling is not a problem, I've got them directly by going directly to the respective offices and asking them, and then I've got the papers directly. So that was fine.
Good. I'm glad that got sorted. Yes, papers. I know it's annoying. It's an annoyance, but gladly you were not located too far from the source of all those documents. But now, Klaus, I hear that you had your interview recently. And when we hear usually about interviews that are related to citizenship, we think, wow, that's going to be massive. How did it go?
In fact, that was a surprising point. Due to good preparation, the interview was very short. It was somewhat like 7 minutes. The only thing that I had to get my papers ready, not the authentified papers, but the passport and the residence card from Belgium. And I had to show it to the camera and put it next to my face so that they could see the photo and the passport. That's me. They had a few questions about my income and about my papers, and that's it. And I was so surprised that it was over after 7 minutes. I said, that's it. And I said, yeah, you have
Wow.
delivered all your
Online.
papers. Yeah,
All online.
yeah, exactly. If you have prepared your papers well, then it's really a matter of a few minutes, at least in my case. So I was surprised and happy.
Good. Well, and then now, Klaus, what advice would you give to someone thinking about getting a second passport outside the EU?
To have a good preparation, to have a to-do list, what kind of papers you need. And once you have delivered all the papers, you have authentified them, you have all your documents with you, and you delivered it as you have indicated, then it's an easy thing. Good preparation makes the interview short. They didn't want to have any further documents as everything was delivered already in advance. And I think that was a good point. Good preparation is really the point which matters if you want to get through and you have no bad surprises in the end.
Okay, preparation is key then. When are you planning a trip to Antigua and Barbuda?
Sorry?
When are you planning your trip to the Caribbean?
At the end of the year.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
When it's getting nasty and
Yeah.
cold in Brussels, then it's time to go.
Yes, then it's time to go. That's a very good plan B. Get away from the winter. Klaus, thank you very much. That was great. I really appreciate you making this time to come and talk to us. I'm now going to move on to Angela. So, Angela,
Yes.
what benefits have you experienced from, pursuing the D7 option for you and your husband?
I think benefits, I think we're privileged to pursue the D7 option because of our military retirement or because we're younger. We don't have Social Security retirement yet, but we do have my husband's military retirement. For us, it seemed like an easier route, or the route that we could pursue that was for our situation, that was available to us at our age and what we were doing. That was the solution for us at the time. And I will be working part-time in a contract position. I will still be working sort of in a contract position to keep my profession up and for us to be able to travel. I think that's just the benefits for us. That's what worked for our family. That's what worked for us at the time.
Sure.
So I think it was just beneficial for us to go that route. And, we had looked at all different kinds of countries to try to move to another country for many years to go to qualify for school or to do some other route. And it just wasn't going to work for us. And the D7 visa was the one that worked. And Portugal was the best country for us to do that in.
Of course, and it's not a decision that you take lightly. So you obviously make a lot of research, do a lot of research, talk to people, talk to specialists. But now I'm going to ask, what was the most challenging process, part of the process of getting because Klaus mentioned a lot about the papers. Did you have to go through that as well?
Yeah, there were a lot of documents that we needed to gather and get the apostille. So there's some that need to be, signed and stamped in a specific way, and they need to come from maybe other states. So in the United States, maybe if you got married in another state, and you need to get your marriage certificate stamped, or something needs to be delivered. I would just say, if you want to get this done, get started as soon as possible. The sooner the better. You never know when there'll be a mail delay. You pay extra fees to get overnight deliveries, expedited shipping, use a guaranteed carrier like FedEx. Also expect rules to change in the process when you're doing the process. You cannot predict that it's going to remain the same, and that the documents that you are preparing are going to be the same documents in the beginning that they are throughout the process. So just be prepared for the unexpected. And you're going to have to be okay with that. I think that, yes, have your documents in order. I mean, have them labeled according to the requirements and be ready for your appointment at your location. I think that's the most important thing, to just be ready for whatever is going to happen and pay the extra fees. If you want to do this, you're going to have to be all in to do it. And you also have to look for housing. And we did hire someone in Portugal, the sister company for Goldcrest, for Global Citizen Solution, to help us with that when we got here. We did our scouting trip like 6 months earlier, like a few months earlier before we started the process. And that was very helpful for us because we didn't know how to advocate for ourselves in the process. And that made everything much faster for us. So if you want to do this, you have to really, I think, go all in and do it. You have to do it. You just make it work and do it, get it done.
Yeah.
And get the help that you need to get it done as fast as you can. If you really want to do it, get the help you need. There are a lot of resources online. I will say that there are good resources online, but I think you need professionals, and you need people that speak the language and that know the system well to make sure that you're getting the right answers to your questions. And that is so important. And I've seen people spend so much time and so much energy and extra money that they don't need to spend to get this done. And if you just need to go just the little extra mile if you're going to do it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, no, Angela, this is really good advice, and I'm glad you shared it all. You have to be prepared. See that there's a lot of mental preparation as well.
Yes.
And a lot of research that has to be done. So you mentioned the real estate advisors. Just to clarify, it's a Goldcrest
Goldcrest, yes.
agency. So it's our real estate advisors in Portugal. And if you're watching us and you'd like more information about it, just put on Q&A, and our production team will share the details. So now, thank you very much, Angela. I will open the floor for attendees' questions to our panelists, our guests, and experts. Also, I'd like to say that our Plan B guide are available now to be shared, so our production team can share with them. So let me see here. Now I'm going to open the Q&A box very briefly and see what what questions we will answer now. So I've got one here. Specific, I'm just going to summarize the key points, right? Applying for digital nomad visa for Italy. If that's the case, I'm not sure if it's going to be active. I will not be able to enter Italy at all until my lease start date, visa start date. Follow-up question, would I be able to enter a different Schengen country before the lease start date and then enter Italy on that start date? I don't know if Puka is able to answer that one.
I don't know if I can go into too much detail on this, as it's not my area of expertise, but generally it depends on whether you're entering the country on that residence permit or not. So if it is valid, if it only becomes valid at the point of obtaining a lease agreement, then no. But if you already have visa-free access or you already have a Schengen visa, then absolutely, that doesn't stop you from entering the country. Remaining in the country, then you need to have an active resident visa.
Okay, I think we've got some problems with Polka's Wi-Fi. We missed the last bit. Yeah, it's frozen. So yeah, so if you want to type that answer, Polka, it's also good as well. I've got just two more because the team has been really busy answering them. So yeah, Yelena is answering one now. There is one about getting a dual citizenship in St. Lucia. I don't know if Joe is able to answer that one or if he needs more details. So yeah, this person is receiving Social Security disability in the US and want to get dual citizenship in St. Lucia. Is that possible?
Yeah, let me jump in. Yeah, St. Lucia allows dual citizenship and multiple citizenship, so not a problem at all.
Very good. Okay, so I'm very glad to say that we have basically all all the questions answered. Well done. The team has been answering really, really fast. Very, very good. So now I think we can call it a day. I don't know. Yes, our team has shared the Plan B guide here. Fantastic. Also, I think someone asked about the Goldcrest Buyers Agency. So our team is also putting a link there if you are interested. And yeah, so that's it. If you have an urgency of a Plan B strategy, we have practical steps and available resource to get you started. I'm really glad we had the real life inspiration from Angela and Klaus. And yes, and we have lots of resources for further exploration. Have a look on Global Citizen Solutions website. At the top, you will see the Global Intelligence Unit headed by Laura, and you will see all the information about migration trends. We also have the Global Passport Index there. And of course, our YouTube channel with lots. When I'm saying lots, I'm not being very honest here. It's really an enormous amount of available information, videos, and about programs all over the world. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.